On this episode, we talk about robots, social media engagement, and futsal. Hey everybody, my name is Chris Kubby. My friends call me Kubby, and this is The Kubby Show, where I dive into topics on marketing, social media, and business to give you the tools, the tips, and the tactics that you need to grow your business and grow it fast. This week, we're talking about the future of social media. And by no means am I the first person to talk about this. There are many others that you can follow and read about and read their content on this particular subject. But I thought we would dive into this today, in particular because a new app has hit the market just this last week, which is called Anchor. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into this really started, probably about 5-6 months ago. I did a blog post on social media engagement and how that is getting a bit tougher. And even guys like Buffer have come out. Buffer is a big giant social media app for scheduling social media posts, have come out and said, even their social media engagement has dropped significantly, almost half. So they're, looking at this and trying to figure out what's going on. And we can see this across almost the entire industry. And I have a few, what do you want to call it? A few suspicions about why this is. And one of the big things that I cover in that blog post, and I'll link it up in the description below, is that we've been gaming the system. Even me, guys like me, I did a Snapchat story just last week, which was about me actually dropping some of the robots that I'm using that were feeding stuff into my Twitter timeline and in other places as well. And I actually stopped that. I have some other robots that are doing some other things, and I'm really looking hard at these things and trying to reduce them as much as possible, because I think that we've come to a place in social media where these robots aren't working anymore. And that's really my point, is that they actually kind of used to work. And you can see, and some people might not admit this, but I will admit this, is that you could see that some of the big social media guys, gurus, girls out there have actually been using these robots for a long time, and they actually worked. They built their big social followings on these. They were able to feed stuff into their Twitter, in particular Twitter timelines, and feed content into that beast and do so without lifting a finger, really. So, and those days are ending, and that's really great for social media. We can see that. I was on a Blab. If you don't know what Blab is like a live streaming platform where a bunch of people can kind of jump into a video chat room and collaborate on something. I was on a Blab yesterday with Joel Comm and Brian Fanzo, two big, huge, heavy influencers in social media. And we were talking a lot about Snapchat and Snapchat for business. And one of the things that we got into was that the new age, or the new wave of social media, is really much more social. It's much more interaction, it's much more engagement, and it's much more video, photos, Anchor, which I'll get into later, as much as audio only. But these things you can't automate. And that is the future of social media, which is really, I think, a great thing, is that we can't automatically create Snapchat stories. We can't make robots to do our Instagram posts for us. There's a lot of other automation around Instagram that you can do, but in terms of content production and in terms of getting content out there and engaging with people on a real scale, you can't automate these things anymore with the new platforms like Peach, like Beam, like Snapchat, like Anchor, like Periscope. These things you can't automate. So that's really the future, I think, and the future looks bright for all of us in terms of social media, because we're not going to be relying on robots anymore. As I said in my Snap story back then, these aren't the droids that I'm looking for anymore. And I think that is super, super, super important. So my advice to anybody who's getting in the social media game or trying to do much more on social is get on these new platforms. Get on Snapchat, get on Periscope, get on Blab, get on Anchor. And Anchor I'll cover right now, which is basically it is little audio snippets that people can record, questions, thoughts, and it goes into sort of a social media platform and people can listen and reply. So go to anchor.fm. I will put the link down in the description, but maybe Sammy, you want to pop it up here somewhere. So that's really a kind of a neat tool. You can actually listen to people, hear what they're saying about certain topics and engage with them. And that you can't automate. And that is what's beautiful about the new wave of social media. So I implore you, if you're going to get big time into social or you're looking to amplify your social this year, do much more, please, let's see if we can cut out the robots. I'm working hard to remove those robots and, be very weary or leery, I should say, about anybody who's saying, who says they're a big social media guru. And you need to look at their timelines, you need to look at their content, you need to look at what they're doing, and you need to do that with a critical eye and say, is this true engagement? Is this truly social media? Or is this somebody feeding stuff from a robot? So thank you very much for watching. Before I go, I want to give a big shout out to Jabril Salam. He won my Snapchat Snap Out contest last week, so he is getting 8 hours of my time to help him build his business. He is really engaged and really a driving force behind the futsal movement. And if you don't know what futsal is a form of football, form of soccer that's getting quite popular in the world and has been actually for a while. I think actually Brazilian players use it to train. Don't quote me on that, I don't know. But hook up with Jabril. I'll put his snap code in somewhere here. Sammy, can you do that? And you can learn a lot about futsal. Futsal is actually going to be giant. Mark Cuban, the big billionaire, just put a bunch of money into the sport to create a first professional futsal league. So very exciting things. So congrats to Jabril. Follow him on Snapchat. He's a great guy. He's got great content. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this with your family, your friends, your coworkers, your colleagues, your dog, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma. Share it with everybody that needs to know something about social media or marketing, and please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Adios.
Let's get it done. I'm only showing up the finals. Yes, I drunk dial. Girl, I got 21 speeds on my cycle. You can hop over, baby, don't pop the tires. They're my mama's wheels, oh no, I can't deny it. Like evidence in trials and drunken freestyles, I only represent the truth and nothing else. Cause working class, that's how I work this craft and try to keep my product popping like Percocet. When I say eat the rich, they go thinking I'm crazy like Marlowe, assuming that I'm too far gone. When we get a Grammy nomination, I'ma roll my car, slow down a red carpet with Carlos and two-tone, sitting on 12, stolen, take that, get it back with shit.